That'll make it feel colder.
Yeah. Morning, Michelle. Looks like we got about 3 minutes yet, so.
It is live already.
Are you leaving that one?
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
Yeah.
You just gotta pass it through?
Yeah.
That's better than passing out.
Yeah.
Passing gas.
Good thing that we got that reminder before
Yeah.
the meeting. Be donuts next week.
I was just telling my wife about the gift of the donuts last week.
I think you get a free pass the first time.
Wow.
All right, good morning. It's 9 a.m. We'll call the meeting of the Codington County Commissioners to order at this time. Today is Tuesday, January 17th. All commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioner Chair Lee Gable, who is joining the meeting via Zoom this morning. So Commissioner Gable, good morning. Good morning, commissioners. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and I'll have Commissioner Schwer lead us in that, please.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Schwer. Just a reminder that if you have a cell phone, we'd like you to silence that. That also includes Apple Watches and that sort of thing so that nothing disrupts our flow of our meeting this morning. We do have a rule that if it does disrupt the meeting, you buy donuts. So just keep that in mind. All right. Call for public comment. Public comment may be submitted in person or via telephone by calling 605-882-6248 or 605-882-6297. For any items that are not on the agenda, you can leave those comments. We'll discuss those in the open as well. Commissioners, item number 3, any conflict of interest items? Nope.
Nope.
Charlie, not okay. Action number 4, action to approve the January 17th, 2023 agenda. Look for motion.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved by Gable, second by Schwer. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 is action to approve the January 10th, 2023 minutes of the Board of the Codington County Commission. Moved by Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Gable. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's get on to the motion to our monthly reports. And we're going to change this up just a little bit. The facility manager has requested to go last. So we're going to take Highway Superintendent Rick Hartley first, followed by the Welfare Director and then Facilities Manager. So good morning, Rick.
Good morning.
Mine's pretty short this month. It's not snowing near as hard as when I came in the building, which is nice to see. The guys have been moving snow when we need to. We've had some events that have gone through with some wind, and they're moving banks back, trying to make more room for the next snow and blow that we have. The guys also have removed the snow pile in the courthouse and the ag building. The farm show will be here sooner than what we think. Our motor grader out of Watertown here, we have a set of points for it to put on the cutting edge. And we used it to scrape the asphalts when the asphalts were still ice. And then we had some nice weather to help clean those up. And he's working on the gravel roads. We have the west side of the county done. He's been over all those roads and that's helped quite a bit. And he's done some in the Kransberg area. He has some more to do there. And then he's gonna move up to South Shore. He made a quick round on South Shores right after we put them on. But it was still, we hadn't had any weather. So he's gonna do it again because there's between 1 inch and 2 inches of ice still on the gravel roads up there. And it has helped quite a bit. We still have a little inventory to do in the Watertown shop. The outlying shops should have theirs done. The guys are working on equipment to maintain it for the snow events. The guys have also removed the pile of trees at Memorial Park and hauled to our gravel pit to be burned. That was the FEMA project from one of the storms last summer. Now we just have to get a couple of days where the wind doesn't blow for 2 days so we can burn the pile at least.
Good luck.
Yeah, right.
We've already burned it once this winter, so we'll get it done. Next week, all of our guys will be going to MSHA training. We had one of our motor graders break down here a couple weeks ago, pulled up to a stop sign and it just quit. And we called Butler and they came out, they got it running, got it to their shop. And that was a Thursday afternoon. And it burned up a power box on the machine. And they had to run to Aberdeen and get it. And we were predicted to have snow that weekend. They called me at a little after 6 o'clock Friday night to go and pick it up. Or they brought it to the shop, I should say. I had to go down and let them in, but
Wow.
that is a huge service to have that company a stone's throw from our office. That is huge.
Just down the road.
Yeah, just down the road. That was nice. Trey Lester works for Turnkey Logistics. They work for the Summit Carbon Solutions. He stopped at my office last week and he gave me their road use agreement. And I told him that we'd probably be using our road use agreement that we used on the wind towers. And if he has any other ones, he said he'd share them with us. And that way we can add to ours. If there's some language in there that would be useful, we'll add it to ours. I've already sent it to Banner to have them look it over and see if there's anything that we can use. So, but he said, Trey said that if he gets any other ones, you know, like from Minnehaha County or any of the other counties, that he'll share them with us. So someday we can have a bulletproof road use agreement for all the counties to use for when these big projects come in. So that's all I have. Have any questions?
Yeah, Rick, what is MSHA training? What does that stand for?
Mine training, because we go into the gravel pits and we have to have it every year. They put on a class. It's an 8-hour class that we have to do, or excuse me, a 7-hour class. And then we have 1 hour of training outside the classroom. And it's something that we do every year. All the counties do it. The city street department does it. It's just for mine safety. There's a little bit of everything in there, from first aid to things to do and not to do when you're in a mine.
Okay.
You refer to it as a mine, but I'd call it a gravel pit. That's what
Okay.
that's what we deal with here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you're dealing with the
Mine
government,
safety.
so
Yeah.
it's a
Gotcha.
mine.
All right. All right. Any further questions for Highway Superintendent?
Thank you, Rick.
No, thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, Welfare Director. Get Sarah up here. Good morning, Sarah.
Morning, Sarah.
All right. Happy New Year. I haven't seen you yet.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Yep. Hi.
Yep, I'm Randy.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. All right, so start with the data report. We're still working out some of the logistics of where the numbers come from on this. But one thing I want to point out that doesn't actually highlight on here is since I called and asked for the numbers, since December 1st, we have had 25 people in our office that have been homeless. And so there's been 27 working days and we've had 25 people. So we've been really busy. The working with homeless individuals, we don't have anywhere to put them right now. And so that's been a bit of a challenge. It's kind of stressful for staff to figure out what to do with individuals that don't have anywhere to go. All but one of those were Watertown residents. We had one person who the police department called us and needed some help with. He had coming off the interstate and got stuck in that Christmas blizzard. We ended up getting him a bus ticket, but we had to wait until after the blizzard was over for the bus to run for that one. But otherwise, everyone was Watertown residents that we just had to try to work through options for what we were going to do with them. And have been able to manage, but it's time intensive with that. The new emergency housing. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna ask Sarah on your report. So that's that the homeless numbers are not really reflected. Would it be under emergency housing or? I guess that's kind of the question.
Yeah.
But it looks like it doesn't capture everything from what.
Right,
what I'm
because
looking-
we don't provide them housing. With those are the number that we have provided housing for. We've just tried to work with other
Right, okay,
options.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. So, yeah, so those are probably, and I'd have to go back and double check. That's probably the number that we have ended up putting up in a hotel for that.
Okay, thank you.
So following through on this gentleman that you bought the bus ticket to,
Mhm.
I'm involved in that case.
Okay.
Which categories is he under? Is that would be just case management and emergency housing or?
He would be
Transportation or-
transportation and emergency housing would be the two that we would have. We
Okay.
might have included case management because it was kind of a mess. That was a lot of calls over the Christmas break with the police department every day of like, bus isn't running yet. Just keep an eye on it. So that, yeah.
Well, it just helps me because
Yes.
I'm familiar with that
Mhm,
scene with line it would go under.
mhm.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. We've also had 4 funeral requests this month. It's January 17th and we've had 4 funeral requests. So that's not a great start for the year. 3 of those were approved. 1 was denied. And so, and again, like Carrie just went and looked this morning and she said the funeral homes between the 2 of them, they've had over 30 funerals that the 2 funeral homes in town have done this month so far. So I guess that's just a portion of where they're at with that. So our office has been incredibly busy with those pieces. In addition to that, Carrie continues to do the CARES program, and $3,000 in administrative fees were reimbursed from December. Hunter, she ended up wanting to adjust her hours, and so she's reduced her hours, and so she no longer works on Fridays here in the office. So that has changed things a little bit, but I think we're adapting. With the help from Angela, it helps me be able to balance that a little bit, and so we'll talk about that at the end. As far as our office itself, our intern did start last Monday. She also applied for the permanent position, the CHW position that we have open. And so we're working with Natalie on the logistics of between the internship and what would work for her position. And so hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have that sorted out and we will be able to formally offer her the position with that. I think she'll be a good fit. We also, I did some more, had some more training and in-service from the CHW program across the state. And so I've decided it's probably worth our time to look into Medicaid reimbursement. I know I had pretty adamantly said that that wasn't worth our doing, but hearing some of the ways that other agencies are utilizing the Medicaid funding, I think it may be an option for us here at the county. It's not the ICD-10 codes and things like that. There's some flexibility related to the social determinants of health. And so I think we can possibly do that. So we're exploring that. One of the first things is we have to make sure the clients that we're serving are Medicaid eligible. So we will continue to have conversations with you about that process for that. Also working on finalizing the staff procedures manual today. In January, we have it written in that will update the guidelines in January, but we're also working on the actual procedures for those guidelines with that. And then the Watertown Cares Board, I moved that into the welfare office because I'm really just on the board for that. And so that's where we're working. The Watertown Cares is going to be the one that's overseeing the emergency housing, the 612 flats. So we've been working really hard to get all of that up and going. We have officially posted notices to hire the executive director for that program. We continue to hope that we will be able to do an April opening, but I'm working on finalizing all of the grant requirements to get in all of those pieces. You know, federal money takes a lot of pieces to get into place with that. So those are coming together though. And then the other thing that we have to work on, and I'm sure I'm going to be coming back to you, is we need to have some startup funding for that because of the way the grant works. It's reimbursed. And so we need to get some money in the account. Clearly the county will benefit from that with the number of homeless people that we've had just in the last month. And so there will be some more discussion with you regarding what options we have to support that through the county. And we're not just coming to the county, we're going to talk to the county, the city, the hospital, and the foundation as well. So it won't just be on the county with that. So. And then the systems of care strategic planning pieces that we're doing, we had our interagency meeting last week. We had 27 people attend, and Kelly Rumso, the prevention coordinator at HSA, shared mental health information, which is also one of the goals with the strategic planning that we have, is that our mental health, increase mental health awareness of what's available in the community for resources. So she shared that. For the strategic planning, I didn't go into a lot of it. I just wanted you to know that overall, all of the groups at this time are doing action planning so that we can really move into the action phase of that strategic planning. And again, those groups are community transformation, which is looking at things like relationship building and skill building, mental health, centralized services, and community education. I did want to mention we do have the survey that's active right now for that. And this is to do branding to unite all of the social service agencies under that. So that is going really well. We were able to get that into the utility bill, and we've gotten a really good response from the utility bill for that. So that's been good. And the childcare working group, we just got the results. We meet this afternoon and we'll be going over the results from the childcare survey.
Right.
So I'm excited to get that information and to be able to like target what our needs are for childcare in our community. And then the housing working group, obviously they've done all of the emergency housing. That's been the work that they've done. But now that that has been started, we're reevaluating what our next phase is. We know that once we have emergency housing, we still need places for people to go. And so that's what the housing working group is looking at right now. What are we going to do for our shortage of housing with that? And then administratively, I mentioned Angela. Unfortunately, we didn't get that grant from the South Dakota Community Foundation that we were hoping for. We're continuing to explore other funding options. I did meet with Erin Sertska from CRH or CHUSD. But she does a lot of grant writing and that kind of thing. And we met last week and kind of did a brainstorming conversation. So we're going to continue pursuing other funding options. But in the meantime, Angela's support is really essential for me to be able to continue to do the work that I'm doing. As busy as we are with just the welfare office side of it, I really need Angela to be able to pick up the pieces so that we can keep the community work moving forward with that. And it really does benefit our whole community as well with that. And so that's on the agenda today, is to just extend the contract that we had. We initially had that going through January with the hopes that we would get that grant. And so I'd like to continue that until we do find other funding for that. So that's my report.
And we will get to that here shortly.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions for Sarah?
Just, Mr. Chairman, on the report, just to highlight that what people are looking at on the screen, that's 2022. So when you see the funeral assistance, it's not about the few burials we've had in January, but it's last year, just to clarify that.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a lot of funerals already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, it is.
All right. If no further questions for Sarah, we can move on, and looks like maybe you have something to do with the next couple of
I do.
items on the agenda.
Yes.
So we'll go ahead and we'll just do that, Steve, first here. So let's jump down to item number 7. Action to set the 2023 indigent burial rates. Cindy?
That would be Sarah's.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sarah?
So on the
Okay.
back of your sheet, yeah, well, you kind of adjusted that. On the back of your sheet, are the appendix for our policy, the income guidelines that we have, and the funeral assistance is appendix C. Perry and I talked, and Codington County continues to be on the higher end of the rest of the state, and so I don't think there's any need to increase that amount. We did have some discussion about just making a flat rate for cremation and traditional. The question was then, where do we set that flat rate? And so we need to do some exploring across the state for, if we were to just do a flat rate, what that amount would be, somewhere in the middle of those two. What we're seeing a lot more is just blended services where they do they might have the body for the service and then cremate after the service. And so it gets kind of messy from the funeral home point of view, because they still have to do all of the traditional funeral expenses, but the cremation rate. And so that's if we just go to a flat rate, but we're going to explore that a little bit more. That's a really long way to say we don't recommend any increases at this
changes?
time.
Okay.
Can you say what the current rate is, Sarah?
Yep. Yeah, currently for cremation only, it's 22,575. And so if it says cremation at all, that's the rate for a traditional funeral and memorial service is 3,952. And then the opening and closing of the grave is $565. And that is determined separately. Sometimes we might approve the funeral, but we may have the family be responsible for the opening and closing of the grave, depending on what the resources are.
And I know at one time, former Commissioner Hanton and I had talked with the funeral homes about this, and we were able to look at the numbers across the state, across the board, and Codington County, I think, was one of the highest in the state. So I know that they provide a resource for us. I'm happy with leaving the numbers where they're at right now, commissioners.
I have something here to throw in about the C on the appendix C. Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County just does cremation. Is that correct?
They do both as well.
Do they do both as well?
Mhm.
Okay. There was some time, I talked to somebody down there, they were thinking about just going to do cremation.
Yeah, yeah. I talked to the funeral homes a little bit about it, and they really said that they, I think, kind of ethically and morally couldn't force families to make that decision
Mhm.
if a family came in. So they didn't want to be in a situation where they had to tell families what they had to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be forcing it, it would be. This is what we're willing to do. If you want over and above, you get over and above.
Yeah,
Well, it is kind of forcing if they're not able to
Yeah.
pay.
Yeah.
But,
I'll make a motion to accept the welfare director's recommendation.
all right, motion by Gable. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Waterman. Any further discussion on that? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The rates will stay the same for this year. Thank you, Sarah.
Yep.
Moving on to action item number 8, action to update the welfare guidelines. Sarah.
Okay, so there's just a few things. Pretty much it all stays the same. You don't have a copy of this. It's on our website. But what we would like to do is just remove some services that we haven't been providing. We don't provide food assistance. We connect people. There's enough other food resources in the community we're able to provide people with. So we'd like to remove the food assistance support from the county. And then also remove personal hygiene and household items, dental and eye care services. Those are other resources are able to provide those services, and so we have not and don't intend to provide those services. We just like to remove those from our guidelines policy.
Okay, do we have that
Oh,
in our
I'll make
packet? No. Okay.
Move to approve the changes.
Motion by
Oh,
Johnson,
second.
second by Gable. Any further discussion?
Sarah, it's, those are already removed on the website or you're going?
No,
to
they're
do that?
not. They will, if you approve them, then.
Okay,
we'll
all right.
put it up.
All right.
The guidelines themselves are on the website.
Okay.
Any further discussion? If no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 9 is the action to approve consultant agreement between Codington County Welfare and Angela Hyde. We just talked about that, but go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so this is just a contract so that Angela can continue to provide support to our office for the social services strategic planning that we've been doing, helping lead the working groups and that kind of thing.
This would be at a rate of $50 an hour, no more than 5 hours per week. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yep, that's where we're at.
Okay, or
On
20
average.
hours per month.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Gable,
I'll second it.
second by Schwer. Any discussion?
So Sarah, how does this affect your budget, given that you didn't get the grant that you
Yeah.
wanted?
That's a good question. So with Hunter decreasing her hours through ICAP, that opens up some of the funds in the professional services line item. And so it should just kind of be a wash.
Wash.
Okay.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Have a good day.
All right, let's jump back up to item number 6 and get the facilities manager report. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Steve.
Get set up here.
All right, I guess we'll start off with my report on the ag building. Staff is continuing setting up the barn in preparation for the farm show. The bulk wood chip shavings should be coming in this week, was notified. So they'll get that and then they'll get that all into the stalls and get the stalls finished up for that. The government building, not a lot of things going on in this building so far, just cleaning and some snow removal and de-icing. Detention center, of course, the RFP again on the agenda. I have to apologize for missing some things last week. So to both the commissioners and the gentleman here from Johnson Controls. Cell door parts have started to arrive. They have been notified that the installation will begin the last week of February for the cell door over there. Park. Well, the Girl Scouts agreement has finally arrived. I think it showed up. Tom had sent it up to Cindy's office this morning, so that can be completed and signed. That was okayed to have the chair sign them
Well,
when we got
actually,
them.
That's a good question because it was dated November 2nd or November 8th,
Oh.
2022. Should Brenda be
Yeah,
signing it then? Because that's when you took
Okay,
the action
yep.
to
All
approve
right.
it.
I would say that at the time that the action was taken.
Tom agreed that
Yeah.
it should be signed by Brenda, so.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Camping reservations are set to start in February on February 1st. Of course, the booking is up to 95 days out for the last day. So for an instance, if somebody wants to book on the 1st of February, they can be able to stay from May 1st to May 7th. Tree, of course, Rick had said the tree debris has been removed to the county pit to be burnt. Weather permits. Andrew and I will burn and monitor it while it is being burnt. So in the weed area. Last time I gave my report, I had the meeting scheduled for the 22nd February. I had to have that rescheduled to May 8th. And this is due to the conflicts of some events that are occurring for that week of the 22nd and the following week. So May 8th That will be at 6:30 PM. Also, we'll be working at Sioux Falls Farm Show booth, weed booth next week, Friday in Sioux Falls. I'll be in the Denny Sanford area. That's where we usually typically are stationed at. South Dakota Weed and Pest Conference is February 15th through the 17th in Huron. And then, of course, last week or a couple weeks ago, the bid letting for the chemicals and stuff like that, and I have distributed it to a couple vendors so far on that. And an update on our phones. It's been quite a challenge yet. I had been in contact with CenturyLink now again this past week. They've had somebody checking into what accounts are all affiliated, got a reply back on Friday, sent that off to our new vendors. Hopefully we can get them things finally settled on that.
So
That's,
this is
Yes.
an issue of porting the numbers.
yep, this is on porting the numbers.
All right.
Right, anything else, Steve?
Nope, that's it. Any other questions?
Questions for Steve at all? All right, thank you very much. We'll conclude your monthly report. We can move on to item number, let's jump down to 15 since you're
Okay.
here. That is discussion, possible action to reconsider motion from the January 10th meeting to award an RFP for HVAC project into the detention center courthouse to CMTA.
Guess I don't have the agenda right in front of me, but I have to, like I said, I have to apologize for last week and so that not knowing I misplaced where it was put. Each one of you should have a document in front of you. So and you go to page 19, which would be the following page. I highlighted what was in there was phase 2 compensation as compensation for GCI's performance of phase 1 scope of services under the pursuit. Under and pursuit to this agreement, the fee of JCI will be 6% of the total budget of these items. The foregoing fee is based upon the assumption that the total cost of construction installation of new RFP scopes of work will be budgeted at $4,079,056.
Okay.
So, yeah, just so, Steve, that calculates out to, was that, I put as I
Yep,
understand.
Yep, that's what I calculated out to, what you are showing there on your
Okay,
form too.
okay.
It's 244,743 $743.36.
Okay, since we have a motion to accept CMTA, how do we proceed with that then? From a previous motion?
You would have
So-
to
Rescind,
make a motion to rescind that motion.
I make a motion that we rescind the motion in, what is it?
CMTA?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to
accept-
rescind the initial motion by Waterman.
That's
I'll second.
by Johnson, so I don't know if Johnson has to make the second that,
I'll
No.
resend it. If I need to.
no,
I don't think so. I think I
think-
might have made the initial motion and then,
That's-
but
no,
And
then
then
I'll second Waterman's motion right
All right.
now.
by Commissioner Gable, seconds Waterman's motion. Any further discussion on that rescinding of that motion? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries on the rescinding of that motion. All right. Discussion, possible action to accept an RFP and HVAC project in the detention center courthouse. It's item number 16. Steve.
yep, and that's where it proceeds. Of course, last week and so bad, I did not have and misplaced. Not really reading it very fluently. But of course, the RFP results from Johnson Controls is $244,743.36. WPE was $360,000 plus expenses. And of course, like Lee had pointed out last week, they had some exclusions in there. And then CMTA ranged from 320,000 to 370,000. And I guess my proposal would be to accept GCI.
I would make that a motion to accept that.
To accept what?
You want to state your motion, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yep. I would make the motion that we accept the
Proposal.
engineering amount of 244,743.36 from Johnson Controls.
Okay, motion by Waterman,
Oh,
second by Schwer. Any discussion on that item?
so just to clarify, so we're accepting, the motion is to accept the JCI's proposal. And.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then one thing to point out, I think it's important to point out is that CMTA is they're subcontracted as the design, I guess the design and engineering firm for JCI. Is that correct, Steve?
That is correct. We do have a couple representatives from GCI. If you want him to speak or not, that's entirely up to you, the board.
We have a motion and a second already on the floor. Do we need to hear from them?
All right, so Commissioner Waterman's motion is 244,743, but that's with the assumption that the project is $4,079,056. Is that how you want
It worded,
it worded? Your motion to be worded? What if the projected project cost is higher than what's stated?
Could that be handled with a amendment to the,
You can amend your motion to say, to accept the proposal where it's 6% of the cost of the overall cost of the project, which is basically what it says. So, in which we understand to be estimated right now.
upon second thought, I would like to amend my motion and take out the dollar amount and put it at 6% of the cost.
Okay,
Okay,
right, so we have an amendment to the original motion, 6% of the cost. We have a second on the amended motion.
Is the seconder okay with the amended motion? That would be Commissioner Schwer, I think.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Is good with that. All right. Any further discussion on that? If not, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Do you have anything else there, Steve?
nope.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's jump back up to item number 10, which is action to authorize application of Homeland Security grant funds. And Cindy.
Don't have an application. My understanding is this action allows the Emergency Management Office to proceed with the process of applying for funds.
So moved.
Moved by Johnson. Second by Waterman. Any discussion?
Does anybody know, is this a special grant or is this just the annual application? Okay,
Looks like
Something we do every year, pretty
Right.
much.
yeah.
Passed.
Yep. Okay, any more
And when I-
discussion?
Just so people understand, so this is just simply authorizing for the application of grant funds. So it's not affecting the budget at all.
Thank you, Commissioner Gable. All right, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11 is action to appoint a Title VI coordinator. And I believe we have the policy statement in your packet. Who would be handling that this morning? Cindy, is that just a? Guess we
I think
do
Natalie,
that,
yeah.
Natalie?
It's
It's a requirement.
Title VI coordinator, and I believe he has suggested a change in that.
Doesn't want to do it anymore?
Good morning, commissioners.
Morning.
Yeah, like Cindy said, the emergency manager, I believe traditionally has been your Title VI coordinator, just kind of by default. And so he had suggested that maybe HR is actually a more logical fit for that. And I agree to take that over. You are required through the Civil Rights Act, because you receive federal funds, to have a Title VI coordinator appointed. Luckily, I don't believe we've had any issues, but I think it gives people a knowing who to contact if there is an allegation of discrimination on any of the protected classes through that Civil Rights Act.
Move
So-
to approve the Title VI coordinator as the HR.
All right, motion by Johnson,
I'll second the appointment of Natalie Raymond to that
second
role.
by Gable. Any discussion?
So
Yes,
just
the only
so on the,
question I would have Commissioner Gable, pardon me.
Yeah.
Do we have to change anything in any bylaws or anything that state?
No,
Okay,
Six
We-
policy statement and list Natalie as the coordinator.
okay,
And then I think you have to publish it to the
Yes, we
papers.
do.
Yeah.
Well, that's our next,
Motion. Yeah,
that's our next section.
gotcha.
okay.
Sign the policy statement and authorize publication. For now, we're just appointing a coordinator.
Okay, so when we get to that, we'll have more
Yes.
discussion on that, but, okay, Commissioner Gable.
no, I was just gonna say the thing on people's, on your screen and in your packet is, it says Andrew, so we just got to change that to Natalie.
Right,
That's all.
yeah, and that's the next item we'll talk about here. So, all right, all in favor of appointing our HR director as the Title VI coordinator, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. All right, now let's move on to the next item, which is item number 12, and that is to sign the Title VI policy statement and authorize publication of the Title VI Notice of Public Rights. As you just said, Cindy, we will have to make an amendment to that. So do we,
Change, I'll just prepare a new statement. I didn't want to do it before you took action.
Yep.
And I needed some information from Natalie.
Okay.
So
so can we just,
you can approve this statement.
with
It will
changes?
be the Title VI coordinator will be reflected, yes.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that we approve that.
Publication.
Okay.
Change.
Motion by Commissioner Square, second by Commissioner Waterman. Any discussion on that? No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sign, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, commissioners.
All right. Moving on to action item number 13, action to declare a printer in the treasurer's office surplus to be destroyed.
They had one of their printers die in the last couple of weeks. It's an HP LaserJet Pro and the treasurer is recommending destruction of the printer.
So moved.
Moved by Waterman,
Second.
second by Johnson. Discussion. No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion, anybody opposed? All right, motion carries. Destroy that thing. Number 14, action to declare a computer server in the Director of Equalization's office surplus to be destroyed.
And that is the old GIS server and a new one has been ordered to replace that.
Motion by Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Gable. Any further discussion? All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 15, discussion possible action to reconsider a motion from, oh, never mind, we've already done that one. We've done 15 and 16. On to item number 17, which is action to approve claims for payment. Cindy,
Nothing today.
nothing for 17. How about 18?
Nothing for 18.
Okay. 19,
Yes.
action to approve personnel changes. Item number 19, Cindy.
And I think that's in your packet. The highway superintendent is recommending a promotion for Doug Torstensen, who is currently highway maintenance tech 2, I believe. And he's being promoted to highway maintenance tech 3. Effective January 1st.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner
Second.
Gable, second by Commissioner Waterman. The only question I would have is for our HR director in reference to this. Do you have anything that you would like to add on that promotion at all? For,
No,
Doug? Okay. Not to put you on the spot there, but is there anything that you would like to
It's like,
add?
what's the motion? Sorry.
That's
Yeah, so Rick and I have talked about this. Doug has been, as you can see, here for a while, longer term employee. He has filled in several times for when we were short in Henry. He has stepped in and done that position. So I think it's very evident that he is ready for this promotion. And we talked through the step and where it would be appropriate in the new pay grade. And so I think this is good.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 20, action to approve travel requests.
We have one travel request. It's for the facility manager to attend Sioux Falls Farm Show to work the weed booth, I believe is what he mentioned in his report.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Waterman. Any discussion? I know that Steve likes to go down and work that every year if he can, and we appreciate him doing that. It's good networking for us as well here in the county. So, all right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item number 21, public notices, a possible quorum of commissioners could be in attendance at. Does anybody have anything that you're aware of where we could have a quorum? Can't think of anything that I have. Charlie? Maybe. Nothing? Okay.
Oh.
All right. Item number 22, old business. Anybody have anything for old business? Not. Item number 23 is new business.
Just,
Sorry.
ahead.
This meeting, you will hear from Todd Hayes, First District. He will give his annual year-end report.
Very good. Looking forward to hearing about that. That's good. Commissioner Gable, did you have something?
No, I just learned, well, yeah, just one quick thing. Just learned that Representative Otten from, I believe Lincoln County is proposing a bill about the 50-cent sales tax for certain county facilities. That's House Bill 1050. Just FYI, other commissioners might want to get familiar with it.
House Bill 1050.
That's based on the gross receipts tax.
Correct. Yeah. So it's a bit, yeah, sales tax basically, and half-cent, voter approved. Say the basic things are, it's similar to some stuff we've worked on in the past that I think people are aware of. But it would require right. And it would be right. And the key thing about the bill that's different is it would be a 60% voters that would need to approve. And then there's also a 5-year, it's called a cooling off period. So between, say, if a county does this and then it takes effect, you pay off your bond, then you have to wait five years before you do it again for some other facility.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Commissioner Gable. And for those of you that don't know, if you go to sdlegislature.gov, you can listen to those hearings online as they take place. So feel free to do that throughout the entire legislative session. Kind of nice to have that ability to do that. So that's House Bill 1050. Pay attention to that one. All right. Any more new business? Nope. Okay. Item number 24 is our open public comments. Did we receive any phone calls? I don't believe so. No. Okay. Anybody have anything that you want to add? Nothing. All right. Commissioners?
Move to adjourn.
All right. Motion, well, we
Second.
need to, yeah, we need to, before we
Oh,
do
okay.
that,
I thought.
we do have a need for executive session under personnel, which would be SDCL 1-25-2 subsection 1, discussion of personnel issues. Any action, excuse me, any action after, no further action after. All right, we'll go ahead and, motion by Johnson to enter into executive session.
I'll second.
Second by Gable. We are now into, we got to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are now into